Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die, looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just find me, just find me. Sparks will fly if we scream now. This is not how we're gonna go. We are the ones who will never let go. Just watch us roll till we're no one knows. We'll never grow.
Formula 1 returns to Baku for the second running of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, coming off the back of yet another very busy weekend for the F1 stewards, with the result of Sebastian Buemi's incident the following race has sparked huge controversy with the outcome of the result. But before anything was announced, Mugen Honda was straight out to test their new turbo upgrade in both McLarens of Carmen Jordan and Rio Haryanto in FP1. Mercedes, after taking their first victory of the 2017 season, bring a new low drag rear wing in hopes of maximising straight line speed to make up for the slight power deficit they have to Ferrari. Williams made the shock announcement that Robbie Kubica is to race for the Williams team for the remainder of the season, as Sebastian Buemi has now been dropped by the British outfit. This means that Mick Schumacher makes his Formula 1 debut after finishing a respectable 12th overall in the European Formula 3 season. Now it's a big step up to follow in his father's footsteps in Formula 1. Toyota also announced that Komario Kobayashi will race as a second driver for Toyota alongside Lewis Hamilton for the remainder of the season, after taking Toyota's best result over P5 at Canada and their best result since their return to Formula 1. The first time this season, it will be a Mercedes front row lockout, with Fernando Alonso taking pole position from Pascal Wehrlein by over 3.5 tenths of a second. Five-time world champion Sebastian Vettel will line up in P3, with Josh Cherry equalling his best qualifying of the season to line up in 4th. Jean-Nic Vergne only did one run in Q3 to save a set of tyres and only lines up 5th on the grid, with Max Verstappen maximising the pace from his Cosworth-powered Red Bull to line up in 6th. On only his second qualifying back in Formula 1, Komario Kobayashi outqualifies the 2008 world champion Lewis Hamilton to create an all-Toyota 4th row. Robbie Kubica, on his first race back in a front-running car, lines up in 9th, with Daniel Kvyat rounding off the top 10 in the second of the Red Bulls. Lance Stroll starts from 11th as the lead Haas, with Pierre Gasly completing the 6th row of the grid as the lead of the Toro Rossos. It would be an all Renault row 7, with Nico Hülkenberg getting the better of Daniel Ricciardo by just 0.02 of a second to line up in 13th. Mick Schumacher on his first ever qualifying session lines up in 15th, with Carlos Sainz back following his one race ban and lines up only in 16th position. Giovinazzi gets the better of both of the McLarens to line up in 17th, with Rio Haryanto once again the lead of the McLarens, starting from 18th. Adrian Suttle starts from 19th, and Carmen Jordan rounds off the back of the grid in the second of the McLarens. Hey guys, Tara here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 8 for season 4, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. If you did miss the race last time, I definitely do go and check that out, because now that's what happened in the last race. So now give Robbie Kubica a chance now in a front running car. His first time really to be a front running car since 2008. So what can he do on his debut for Williams? Also, what can Mick Schumacher do on his debut in Formula 1? I mean, we saw Carey brought out of F3 last race, had a pretty decent showing, but it's going to be, Mick Schumacher's got a lot to live up with to try and replicate the 7 world titles that his father Michael Schumacher scored throughout his time in Formula 1. Now lining back up on the grid, starting in P4, so equaling our best qualifying grid of the season, got Jean-Nic Vergne behind us. I know that Ferrari is a faster car in general, but we have the more straight line speed, and Vern only did one run in Q3, so he's got a fresh set of super soft tyres for the race, because you only use the free set that you get in Q3, so Vern really could be a threat coming into the race. Now waiting for the back cars now to line up on start of the grid, and we can come now to the 5 red lights for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. We can get a pretty okay start there. Everyone's just driving their way down the turn. We go 3 wide now with the 2 Ferraris. We're going to go 3 wide into tail one. We just have to back out that and just haven't quite got our nose far enough alongside there to make a move there up the inside. You've got the 2 Mercedes going side by side up in front, and then got 2 Ferraris side by side further behind as well. So one of the Toyotas there into the wall. So we can stop them. Maybe they have some sort of damage. You know, the 2 Mercedes already pulling away up in front now. It's the 2 Ferraris. We go right up behind the back now. Although Ferrari, we got Matt Verstappen right behind us now. We got, I think that's Lewis Hamilton there with no front wing after the contact there with the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. So terrible start to the race there for Lewis Hamilton, the 2008 World Champion. Has to trundle around back to the pits now, surely for a front wing change. See there, basically he's got a plank. He's got less downforce on that front wing than HRT had back in 2012. And so Hamilton's definitely going to need to pit at the end of this lap. Now coming up now to the end of the first sector, pretty long first sector in this Grand Prix. You've got Max Verstappen looking very racy behind us, of course the Red Bull much better through the corners than what this Williams is, but the Williams is so much superior in terms of straight line speed. So if we can keep ahead of Verstappen through here, because through the castle section here, there's really no overtaking opportunities. So Verstappen maybe faster through the corners, and probably is faster through the corners, but there's nothing he can do about it to try and get past us. So now have to use slipstream now to try and keep up with the back now of Sebastian Vettel. So Vern has made up 2 positions after the start, getting up already into a podium position, so looks like Vern's strategy could work out pretty well here, saving that extra set of super soft tyres. I mean, albeit with the little tyre wear there is this season, having 3 laps less on your tyres won't make too much of a difference, but still, any advantage you can get with how close Mercedes and Ferrari are on outright pace, although Ferrari have pretty much dominated this season so far. Now we're gaining in station now on the back of Sebastian Vettel. Gaining in station with crest track move, coming turn 1, get boxed in behind there. Not quite enough there to make a move. Coming in, there's Verstappen up the inside now, out of nowhere. Great move there from the Dutchman. Keep his side by side with Verstappen. Verstappen gets us cleanly up the inside, so we get boxed in there behind Sebastian Vettel of Max Verstappen. Despite us having the superior engine power, Verstappen must have had that Cosworth engine turned up to 11 there to try and make a move. Now is he trying to chase down now Sebastian Vettel coming up now into turn 3? Is Verstappen close enough to try and make a move on the back? Or Sebastian Vettel coming up to the braking zone? He's not quite close enough there. A bit of a lock up there from Sebastian Vettel, but we get right up back behind Max Verstappen, of course, with our superior straight line speed. I mean, these engines are both to the spec of what we had last race. I mean, still how easy remember last race, how easily we breezed past Max Verstappen. So Verstappen must have that engine turned up to 11. You see how much we've already pulled away there from Kobayashi. And now this guy behind us for all the time that he lost stuck behind Hamilton when Hamilton was trundling his way back round to the pits. See there, Kobayashi not even on the minimap behind us. We go purple there through the first sector. I mean, that's not surprising since it's only the second lap of the race. And since we are now on the second lap of the race, there's definitely no red flag restart. So, but everyone's still in the race, so Hamilton is going to be way behind. So no restart for Hamilton. Definitely has a lot of work to do now to try and salvage a top 12 points position from this race, and maybe even try and catch back up to Kobayashi to put one over on his teammate. Now coming up now to the end of the second set again, right up behind Verstappen there under brake. So braking once again, we're gaining quite a bit under braking, but on the traction and with the downforce still isn't quite there for it. Like we actually go purple there through the second sector as well. So finding some good pace there through the second sector, of course, just using the slipstream on the back of Max Verstappen to our advantage. You see Verstappen though able to stretch his legs slightly with the extra downforce and traction he gets out of the corners with that superior chassis and aerodynamics of the Red Bull Cosworth. But now we have the slipstream once again, because no DRS yet, that's not affected Part 3. Now Verstappen getting on slipstream, now Sebastian Vettel going to pull to the inside now of Sebastian Vettel, coming down into tail marker. Verstappen made the move up the inside of Sebastian Vettel, can't quite see from this camera angle. Verstappen there has made the move on the 5-time champion, but Vettel's coming back around the outside, still giving side by side now coming into turn 2 between Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. Verstappen there forces Vettel out wide, and that's going to be a drag race now down into turn 3. It's like Verstappen's got the position, but the Ferrari is faster in a straight line. We see Vettel there lost a bit of time. There's quite a bit of momentum being forced out there by Max Verstappen. Now going up into turn 3, really trying to make a move there to inside of Sebastian Vettel as well, but it's just not quite close enough there to make anything of it. And now Max Verstappen moves up into P4 in his Grand Prix, so an amazing start to the race there from Max Verstappen, really showing that Cosworth still have quite a way to go, but once their engines are turned up into the maximum settings, which I'm sure Verstappen's are, they are definitely a force to be contended with in a straight line. Now coming up through the second sector, this is where Verstappen needs to pull away from Sebastian Vettel. Coming up through the castle section now, see Verstappen is starting to stretch his legs to the back in front of the 5-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, and hopefully we can try and make a move on Vettel this time, because Vettel I think might still be within DRS range of Max Verstappen in front, so it's going to be pretty close as to whether he gets DRS or not, because hopefully he doesn't, because then we should be able to breeze past the Ferrari, obviously being a Cosworth-powered Red Bull, managed to overtake the Ferrari last time, hopefully we can now, with our BMW power unit being, once again, the most superior engine on the grid, but only just from AMG and Ferrari, it seems. At this point in the season, at least, anyway. But now gaining through switching through this high-speed chicane, which is honestly one of my favourite corners in Formula 1. This is a challenging corner. You have to get it right. There's no escape there if you get it wrong. Now gaining in switching on this back, Sebastian Vettel going to breeze past the 5-time world champion there. Johnny Van puts up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so contrasting fortunes there for the two Ferraris. Van going the fastest and Vettel looking to have possibly some kind of issue, seeing he's been breezed past in 2 laps now by Verstappen on the last lap, and then me on this lap as well, so Vettel looking to have possibly some kind of issues, and if he doesn't get a hurry, he might be come under pressure there from Kobayashi, because Toyota's still with that AMG power unit, so the Toyota's going to be mighty in a straight line. And so Vettel really needs to get his act together, try and pull away and try and keep it with us, and for his sake, he needs to really try and get back on us and try and overtake us once again, because that Ferrari should not be in 6th. It hasn't got it's not that slow. Now cutting a bit further on onto lap 5, getting on the DRS now on the back, and Max Verstappen coming up now into turn 3. Verstappen there with a huge lockup. We get very close into the back of him there. We go late on the brakes as well. Verstappen there just manages to keep in front of us. And now coming through the second sector, but we are gaining on the back of Verstappen, but there's just nothing we can do about it through the second sector. Much like when Verstappen was still behind us on the first lap, we just have to be patient and just bide your time through the second sector. I mean, unless he gets side by side through here, going up into this right-hander here, there's no overtaking opportunities, because you can't go too wide through the castle section. I mean, you couldn't do it last season, so let alone with wider cars, there's no way you can take it too wide through the castle section this time. I mean, we can barely fit one car through here, but going too wide through there is not going to work, because we maximise going over the cabin, there's maximising the corner exit and entry, just trying to find all the time that we can, but it doesn't look like that's worked out for us very well, as that has allowed Verstappen to pull away, but Verstappen, once again with that superior traction, just pulls away from us out of the corners regardless of whatever corner it is. We get a good run through there under braking, mounting the curb slightly, which could have spun us around, but thankfully we are still facing in the right direction. And now coming down the back straight, we will have DRS on the back now off the young Dutchman, and Cosworth Power v BMW Howard. It shouldn't really be a battle that Red Bull should win. This is the one advantage we have over Red Bull. Of course, if we want to keep Williams in front of Red Bull in the constructor standings for 3rd place, we really need to make a move here on Max Verstappen. Now we have DRS now on the back of Max Verstappen. Now we're gaining in station, gaining quite a lot. Now Vettel's catching round the back of us, looking quite interested behind us. Now coming down the tunnel, trying to go around the outside now. Max Verstappen getting side by side. Verstappen just gives us the room there. The squeezes us out there into the braking zone, and we have to stick behind Max Verstappen there. And that's going to give us a poor run there through turn 1. That's going to put Sebastian Vettel right behind us. Now coming up into turn 2, Vettel just a bit too far behind there, try and make a move on the back of us. But now we get a second bite of DRS, because of course it's a double DRS zone here at Azerbaijan. Now Vettel getting right in the switch behind us. He's going to try and make a move there up the inside, coming to turn 3. We move a bit to the side there to defend. Just to show Vettel that there's no point making an overtake there, because both of us would just lose time to the back of Verstappen, who's the faster car, who's the slower car that we need to get past before we can start battling, ideally, to lose the little amount of time that we do. So we stay in P5 of P20, so everyone's still going in this race. Toyota haven't retired Hamilton from this race, which, I mean, good going there for Toyota. We know that Toyota does have some pretty decent pace, so Hamilton may be able to catch up and get into the low-end points positions by the end of the race. But still, we can try, the maximum we can probably get is P4 if we get past Verstappen and somehow manage to keep Sebastian Vettel at bay. Once again, getting very close to the walls there, maximising the apexes of the corners, trying to find all the time that we can to try and get past Max Verstappen. Once again, just pulls away from us. Now moving through the second sector now onto lap 7, 1 lap later, we're still stuck up behind Max Verstappen, coming up through the castle section. Once again, try and keep a bit closer to Verstappen this time, which we seem to do. Verstappen once again pulls away from us slightly on the corner exit, but we get a much better exit ourselves, and we're keeping a lot closer now to the back of Max Verstappen, coming up now into the end of the second sector. Make a fake move there to the inside, just try and put Verstappen off, of course. A move like that's not going to put off Max Verstappen, someone of his driving ability. Now coming up now through the third sector once again, we're a lot closer to the back of Max Verstappen than we were previous time, trying to overtake him, but so now this time, hopefully we can try and make a move on Max Verstappen coming down into turn 1. We get a pretty poor run there through the high speed chicane, go a bit of an understeer through the left hand at the start of it. Now we'll have the DRS now on the back of Max Verstappen, but Verstappen there looks like he's coming into the pits at the end of the lap, and now we've got Sebastian Vettel going side by side with us now coming down into pit lane, but we have to brake there because we're coming into the pits as well, so good job we have to brake there, because Vettel there of course had no idea we were coming into the pits and pretty much forced us to the outside there, would have forced us to stay out front of the lap, but we want to get the undercut on Sebastian Vettel, so we had to brake there letting through. So it's going to be pretty interesting now as whether we get the undercut on Vettel or not for when he comes in for his stop as well, because we would have lost time there under braking, but with the faster tyres, we should hopefully gain that time back, and hopefully for our sake a bit more as well. Then we've got one of the Mercedes right in front of us there, so looks like a poor stop there from one of the Mercedes to come out just in front there of ourselves and Max Verstappen as well. So I'm going to rejoin the track there just in front of one of the Saubers, and looks like one of the McLarens just behind as well. Now we've got Verstappen gaining and stitching out on the back of, looks like one of the Toro Rossos. Indeed it is. One of the Toro Rossos gaining on the back now of one of the Saubers, because Sauber also costs with power, so it looks like Renault should have the advantage here. Coming up into turn 3, and the Toro Rosso there makes the move up the inside of that Sauber, which I think is Adrian Sutil. So Sutil there doing a pretty decent race so far for himself up there, currently in P13, just outside the points position now. So he was in P12, albeit that some of us have stopped, so he's got quite a bit of time to make up if he wants to take a points position legitimately in this race. I know Red Bull and Sauber both have the exact same Cosworth power unit, but I'm pretty sure the Cosworth keeps some engine mapping or something, some advantage for Red Bull. So Ford can say that Sauber have the same power unit, which they do, but I don't think they have all the ticks and trips to try and make the most out of their power unit. So Verstappen, hopefully, with his say, will be able to make an easy move on Adrian Sutil. You can see how much time he's already losing to that Toro Rosso, just with the Toro Rosso's superior downforce. Coming through the second sector, stuck right up behind. Once again, have a look to the inside there, Max Verstappen. Once again, coming through that corner, there's just nothing that we can do to try and make a move on the young Dutchman. So now coming down the straight, Verstappen will have DRS on the back of the Sauber, because the Sauber won't be that much slower in a straight line, albeit with all the tricks that Red Bull have up their sleeve. An outright straight line speed, there's not going to be much between them. We're going around the outside now, Verstappen gets held up there by the Sauber. Now we're going to go side by side now with the Sauber. Going to go 3 wide now with the Sauber there of Adrian Sutil. Now it's going to be 3 wide now down his tail 1. We breeze past the Sauber. Now you've got the outside line from on Max Verstappen now coming up down his tail 1, and he breeze past Verstappen as well. So Cosworth power, BMW power, proving that the Cosworth still have quite a bit of work to do. I don't know if Verstappen's engine's turned down, considering how easily he breezed past us on the end of lap 1, so we'll be making an easy move back past there Max Verstappen. So Verstappen must have his engine turned down, because you don't know how the engine wear and reliability is on the Cosworth power unit. I mean, in the 8th race, and I just don't think that Cosworth have had an outright failure yet, but I still don't know how their engines are wearing compared to the BMW engine. I mean, the BMW engine has got some really good wear, so they last quite a long time. I don't know how good the wear is on the Cosworth power unit, so albeit they've not had a failure, their engines and other parts of the engine could be wearing quite a bit more than what our BMW engine is. I'm going through the second section now, again right on the back there. Pierre Gasly obviously corrects herself there. I think we may have tapped the back of the Toro Rosso ever so slightly, but thankfully we haven't got any damage from that. But what that has done is put Max Verstappen there in the Red Bull right up back behind us, and we're gaining it literally now on the back of Pierre Gasly. Once again coming up into the second sector, gaining quite a bit there on the braking, of course, with fresher tyres, and Pierre Gasly starting the race on that set of super soft tyres. So he's done 9 laps, almost 10 laps now on the set of tyres, compared to us doing 3 on the current set of supers that we're on. So braking distances and just general downforce in general, because we've got more downforce we can brake later anyway than what the Toro Rosso can. So now we will have slipstream and DRS on the back now of Pierre Gasly coming down into tail 1. We go to the inside there, because I don't know if Pierre Gasly is coming to the pits or not. Hopefully you can try and out-drag Pierre Gasly now coming down into tail 1. It's going to be a drag race down into tail 1 between ourselves and the Toro Rosso. I make the move there with Pierre Gasly now. Here comes Max Verstappen there also in the Red Bull, trying to make a move to the inside of Pierre Gasly coming down into tail 1 side by side. Gasly with a bit of a lock up there. Doesn't really fight Max Verstappen. I mean, there's no point fighting Max Verstappen. I mean, 1, he's on faster tyres, newer tyres, and 2, he's in a faster car, which is also the main team of Red Bull. So when you keep yourself in the good books, you don't fight the main teams. Now we can try and catch up to the back now of the second, or the lead Toro Rosso, which is Carlos Sainz. So Sainz with a good start to the race, didn't have the best qualifying, started in P16 I believe it was, and currently he's in the top 10, albeit with me and Verstappen making our pit stop. So Sainz could be in the low end of the points when it comes to his make his stop. Now we're getting in the switch team on the back now of Carlos Sainz. We try and go around the outside now. Carlos Sainz coming up in turn 2, going to hold it right around the outside. Outbrake the young Spaniard there. He makes the move round the outside there. Carlos Sainz, who then turns to the inside, good defensive to the inside, try and keep Carlos Sainz behind us, which he managed to do. Now we move up in front there of the young Spaniard. Now he's got Max Verstappen right behind him, and I think Sainz may get out of the way off of Verstappen pretty quickly. Now we've got Sebastian Vettel in front of us down the set of soft tyres, so our undercut on Vettel really hasn't worked whatsoever, and Vettel down a set of soft tyres, 15 laps to the end. I mean, he's done 10 laps on the supers, so Vettel could be looking to one-stop this race. I mean, if he does, that puts us a pit stop behind him, but if he doesn't, he's doing the alternate strategy to us, going super soft, supers, and then soft at the end. So whereas we're going super and then soft at the end. So Vettel there could be doing the same strategy. I hope for our sake that he is, but otherwise getting right on the inside there, Sebastian Vettel making me to the inside. We're wheel-to-wheel contact, a bit of wheel banging there through coming up now into the third sector, and that has got a bit of separation in front there from the two cars in front, which I think is one of the Hasses there in front, so they're going to be mighty in a straight line. We get Paul running there over the curve, which just loses all the momentum that we gained and time that we gained on the back of Sebastian Vettel, and that's going to put Carlos Sainz back right behind us once again, albeit I think Verstappen will make an easy move on Sainz coming down into turn 1. But now we have DRS just about on the back of Sebastian Vettel, albeit this time we're definitely nowhere near close enough, making a move there on the back of Sebastian Vettel coming down into turn 1. We're just not quite close enough. Once again, we are gaining quite a bit on the braking, of course, Vettel having to brake early because the Haas in front of him is braking it earlier than what Vettel would usudy, albeit because of the less downforce and go. We have a lock up there from Sebastian Vettel. That's not going to do his tyres any favours. Might end up with Flintstone wheels, what Sebastian Buemi had back in last race of the Canada with all his lock-ups. Now getting in, switching on the back, Sebastian Vettel once again cleaning up into turn 3, close to try and make a move coming under braking. No, but our DRS closes there before we even come into the braking zone, so we could possibly got a problem there with our DRS, closing about 100-150 metres earlier than what it should have been. Hopefully that's not going to affect us too much, because of course if we've got no DRS, that will leave us a sitting duck on the straights. 2 Max Verstappen behind us, and maybe even Carlos Sainz if he hasn't stopped yet as well. Coming up now through the second sector, Vettel right on the back now of the Haas. Of course maybe the Haas have told whichever driver that is to slow down possibly, so we can try and block Sebastian Vettel, so try and hold him up so we can try and make a move on the 5-time world champion. Of course Haas is the Williams B team, BMW B team, so it's likely that is the case of what's happening. But Vettel right up behind the back there of the Haas, which is getting very frustrated. I imagine Vettel's face is probably as red as his car right now, being stuck up behind. They're much slower in a lap overall in the lap Haas, but superior in the straight line speed. That's pretty much what is carrying Haas. Whereas what got on 4th and 6th in the last race, but still the straight line speed is what they're heavily reliant on, much like we were back in season 3 in the Williams. So we took the championship with the car that was fast in a straight line. Now it's Pascal Wehrlein puts up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Vettel there makes the move to the inside there of the Haas, but now it's time for us to come in for our second pistol now. From the Haas into the wall, they've smacked us into the wall, they've chopped off a bit of our front wing. A crash there in the pit lane between ourselves and whichever of the Haases that was. I couldn't quite see which Haas that was, but still, disaster in the pit lane there between ourselves and the Williams B team. The BMW B team is going to a set there of soft tyres, but now we've actually been held for the safety car. We've been held in the pit lane for Bert Mylander, and that's not something I thought I'd say. And the safety car brought out, imagine that's for the debris in the pit lane, of course, because you don't want marshals running into the pit lane. Pretty much it's a blind pit lane entry, so I imagine they'll bring everyone in there. Imagine the pit lane will be closed, but now we've got to try and fill out the car for our lap to see if we need to come back in to change our front wing. You saw Williams there didn't change our front wing, so they've got to do this lap to see if we do need a front wing change. Unfortunately, cutting onto the end of that lap, we have to come back into the pits now for a front wing change. We've seen quite a fair chunk of our front wing did get lopped off there in that crash there with the Haas. Didn't quite see which one it was though. So coming into our pit box for our front wing change. Once again, going to another set of soft tyres there to take us to the end of the Grand Prix, because that 1 lap difference, there wasn't enough time, and there's too many laps left to go on to another set of supers. And it's actually Mick Schumacher whose front wing we lopped off, and he lopped ours off as well, so disaster debut race there for Mick Schumacher. I mean, he finished 12th in the European Formula 3, so still got quite a way to go to improve his talents to try and match what his father achieved in Formula 1. Now coming a bit further on behind the safety car, taking a look at the running order. We've got Jean-Luc Vergne leading yet another Grand Prix, with Pascal Wehrlein there in second on the set of super softs. Fernando Alonso there rounding off the podium in third after starting on pole once again. So Alonso is the only one of the top 4 yet to win a race in this season now. Then we have the 2 Red Bulls there, and then we have our teammate Robert Kubica there on a set of super soft tyres, so Kubica may have to stop again in this race. Then we have Daniel Kvyat on a set there of soft tyres, so Kvyat definitely going to the end of the race, along there with Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault on a set there of soft tyres, and then we have Lance Stroll as the lead of the Hasses, also on a set there of soft tyres, and so is Nico Hülkenberg there in the second of the Renaults, along there with the 2 Toro Rossos there, with Carlos Sainz now as the lead of the Toro Rossos ahead of the Pierre Gasly, both of them on soft tyres going to the end of the Grand Prix. And we have Kamui Kobayashi there quite a long way back in this race as well. And we have the lead of the Saubers there. I imagine they're on a set of soft tyres as well and trying to maximise any pace that they can going to the end of the race. Then we have Carl Jordan as the lead of the McLarens. And then we have Kamui Kobayashi. So Hamilton there making his way up the order. Kobayashi quite a long way back in this race, so Kobayashi must have had some kind of incident as well. Then there's ourselves down in 19th. And then there's Mick Schumacher running off 20th on last place currently in this race. Now coming down into turn 1, we're close to trying to make a move on the back of Kobayashi. We think about making a move there to the inside of the popular Japanese driver, but there's nothing we can do there to try and make a move there up the inside. And I got one of the Saubers making a move up the inside of Carmen Jorda. You know, the cost of the power unit is more, just have more raw power than what the Mugen Honda power unit currently does, despite Honda's turbo upgrades for this race. And see then it's getting mugged off there by Kobayashi and then by ourselves as well, so Jorda just lost 3 positions there, down 1 straight. Now we've got Kobayashi making a move there up the inside of Adrian Suttle as well as there. Suttle making good moves and they're trying to go around the inside now of Adrian Suttle as well, so Suttle there made up 1 position and then has lost 2, so me and Kobayashi making moves there up the order, which is really what we need to be doing now. We try and make anything from this race. You see we're currently in P17 of 20, so me and Kobayashi have got quite some way to go now, and then for Mick Schumacher as well, also on a set of soft tyres, to make our way through this slower traffic and get back into the points paying positions. We should get very deep down the braking, trying to look for a way around the outside possibly there of Kobayashi, but just with the nature of the corner there's definitely nowhere there we can find a way around the outside of Kobayashi there. Now Kobayashi getting an associate now on the car in front, which I think is Rio Haryanto possibly. We're going to go to the outside now, return to the inside of Kobayashi, going down with the drag race now on the back there of the McLaren and get easily past there. The McLaren there of Rio Haryanto now, we're getting in a solution now, going to try and make a move to the inside as well, going to make a move there to the inside of Rio Haryanto, we're just a bit too far back on the Indonesian there to try and make a move there to the inside, have to back out of it. But now coming up now through turn 2, of course no DRS yet, going up down to turn 3 because that won't be activated for 2 laps after the safety car period. So we have to do the end of this lap and we'll have DRS on the next lap. So now Kobayashi gaining on the back there at the start, and now we're trying to make a move around the outside once again of the second of the McLarens. Now Rio Haryanto tries to hold it around the outside there. Haryanto tries to hold it up the inside, but we've just got our superior downforce to hold it there around the outside of the McLaren. So in 2 laps, once again, much like Alonso making the same move on both McLarens last race in 2 laps, we make the same move on both McLarens in 2 laps in this race. And now moving on to the end of that lap, we're still cut onto the back now of Kamui Kobayashi, stuck behind the lead Sauber there of Giovinazzi, because Giovinazzi currently is in P11, so Giovinazzi as it stands is currently in a points paying position. That could be a crucial point position there for Sauber if he's able to hold that position. But you can see Kobayashi does some breezing past the outside there of Giovinazzi, makes an easy move there. We go around the inside now once again of Giovinazzi, coming up now into turn 1, going to make a move there up the inside of Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi can try and hold it there up the inside, still can keep it side by side now, coming down to turn 3. Can Giovinazzi hold it up the inside, still can keep it side by side. I mean, fair play to Giovinazzi, he puts up one hell of a fight, that underpowered car, but you can just see in pure straight line speed, just BMW power stretching its legs there over the Cosworth power Sauber and be able to take the move there in front of Giovinazzi. You can see that we lost quite a bit of time there to the back of Kobayashi and all of that. Now moving on to lap 19, now 26, which you got Pierre Gasly now as the car in front of us, so Kobayashi has made the move there on the Frenchman at some point. And hopefully we can try and make the same move because Renault power v BMW power, once again that should be an easy fight for our Williams to win. And just with the natural low drag of our car as well, just to power us in a straight line to try and get us ahead there of the Toro Rosso. But Gasly will start the slipstream and probably DRS of Kobayashi in front. You can see on the mini-map, the cars in front really on too far in front. But now we'll have DRS and 60 now on the back of Pierre Gasly. Let's see now if this is enough to try and make a move on the Frenchman coming down into turn 1. I'm going to pull to the inside now of Pierre Gasly coming down into turn 1. And close enough to make a move on Frenchman. Have we made the move stick? Indeed, we do move ahead there of Pierre Gasly. And once again, we can try and chase down Kobayashi. There's like quite a squabble going on with the cars in front there. And actually got Lewis Hamilton there, one of the Renaults as well. So Hamilton there with a good charge at the order. Now got Kobayashi right up behind us. So Kobayashi, once again, looking to have superior pace over Lewis Hamilton in this stage of the race. Now getting instantly now on the back of the Renault, but coming down into turn 3, he's just not quite close enough there to the back of the Renault there to make anything of it. Now coming up now into turn 4, we're getting right up behind the back now of Kobayashi, and moving a bit further onto that lap, still behind Kobayashi. He's going to go for a move up the inside, coming up to the castle section once again, just a bit too far behind him because the Renault has some pretty decent aero. We've seen at Monaco, Daniel Ricciardo taking 8th in qualifying, so the Renault does have some really decent aero, but it's just where they're just let down really by their own power unit in a straight line. Just hasn't got the straight line speed of the AMG engine, or indeed our BMW M Sport engine. You see there in pure aerodynamics, see the Renault in front is pulling away from us slightly, coming down into the third sector once again, faking a move there to the inside, just trying anything to put off Kobayashi, because we know from last race how much talent that Kobayashi still has. Despite this only being his second race back in Formula 1, you'd never know they spent 2015 and 2016 out of the sport You get a poor run there on the curb, and that could allow Pierre Gasly to close up to us if he can't get past the Renault. Because the Toro Rosso is pretty much a low drag Renault, so it should be faster theoretically in straight line speed, but through the corners is where the Toro Rosso loses time. Now gaining in station, now Kobayashi trying to make a move to the inside now of the Renault, coming down into tail mark and trying to make the move stick there on the Renault. Didn't quite see which Renault that was, but Kobayashi does make the move stick there into turn 1. Yeah, I think it's Daniel Ricciardo trying to move to the inside there of Daniel Ricciardo. We're just not quite close enough there to the back of the Australian to make a move there to the inside, but now we will have DRS on the back now of Daniel Ricciardo once again. You see how Ricciardo will have the slipstream off the back there of Kamui Kobayashi, but he doesn't have DRS though. So you see how much we're gaining in slipstream. Try and make a move there to the inside once again, coming up into turn 3. Once again, we're just not quite close enough there to the back of Daniel Ricciardo to make anything of it. And coming through turn 4 once again, just looking to the inside, trying to find any way we can to try and get past Daniel Ricciardo. I see that Kobayashi already pulling off into the distance there ahead there of Daniel Ricciardo. So you need to try and make a move on the Australian as quickly as possible. Now getting a good run going up now into the castle section, where there's no way we can make a move coming up through here. They're coming up through kind of a bit of a lock up there from Daniel Ricciardo. That's going to give us a move to the inside. Goes side by side now going up to the castle section. We just have to back out of that. There's no way we can take it too wide through there. So we just have to receive the position back to Daniel Ricciardo. See, this is put Pierre Gasly right in the back of us now, and Gasly should be faster in a straight line than Daniel Ricciardo, but it's going to be pretty even everywhere else between the two of them. And they're gaining in slipstream. See how much you're gaining in slipstream on the end of the straight, just with our superior power over the Renault. Get a good run there over the curbs. We get a pretty poor exit there, but just with 2 wheels on the ground, you don't get good traction with that. I mean, this Williams doesn't get good traction anyway, let alone just having 2 wheels on the ground to supply the traction. So pretty much 1-wheel drive there, because of course Formula 1 cars still rear wheel drive. Now coming up through the long sweeping fast chicane now, we'll have DRS switching on the back. I don't know, he's lost quite a bit of time there too. Kirby actually defending from us on this lap, of course without lockup as well. We should make an easy move here past Daniel Ricciardo. Looking on board of it now from Gasly, you see we've already breezed past the outside there of Daniel Ricciardo coming down into turn 1. Is Ricciardo going to try and fight back and just coming down into turn 1? So Ricciardo doesn't go for one of these dive bomb moves there up the inside. I mean, looks like we made the move there. Stick on the Renault, we can try and chase down once again Kobayashi coming up behind now, the lead of the Toro Rossos there of Carlos Sainz, and they're coming up with the DRS, but I don't know if Sainz has DRS off the car in front. Can't quite see if the DRS is open or not. And coming up into turn 3, see Kobayashi is gaining on the back of Sainz, but it just isn't quite close enough there to make a move into turn 3. And cutting a bit further on there, Kobayashi now breezing past the Toro Rosso there of Carlos Sainz coming into turn 1, trying to go around the outside once again of Carlos Sainz coming into turn 1. Sainz there can hold it up the inside, can keep it side by side there with Carlos Sainz once again. They're coming down to turn 2. Sainz has the inside line. We're trying to hold it round the outside of the Spaniard to make anything of it. Sainz squeezes us there, but we force our hand there, keep away from the wall, because don't want to have another pistol there for another front wing change. The wings will be running out front wings at this point. They're going to pull to the inside of Carlos Sainz. Now coming up to turn 3, trying to make a move stick up the inside of Carlos Sainz. Sainz can try and hold it right around the outside. We just can't hold it there around the outside. Going on fresher, albeit by 1 lap. We're on fresher tyres than Carlos Sainz. They're coming down to lap 23 of 26, so not much longer left to go in this race, and now hopefully it's time for us to try and make a move on Kobayashi. I mean, we've just been following Kobayashi through the field throughout the whole of this final stint of the race, but now hopefully it's our time to try and make a move on the back of the Japanese drivers. Now we'll have DRS and stitching, but we know that Toyota is so fast in a straight line with that AMG power unit, just a natural low drag setup for I imagine Toyota brought to their car for this race. Gaining the slipstream on the back of Kobayashi, but coming down into turn 1, we're just not quite close enough there to the back of Kobayashi to make a move. Now stick behind Kobayashi, now coming up now into turn 2. We're close to take a move once again, fake a little move there to the inside, but just nothing can come of it. But now we will have DRS once again on the back now of Kobayashi, going down now into turn 3. And that's going to be battle of the straight up. Imagine Kobayashi has that AMG engine turn up to 11 to try and keep in front of us now. We make a move there to the inside now of Kobayashi coming up to turn 3, trying to make a move stick there up the inside. We just have to back out a bit, not quite close enough there to the back of Kobayashi to make a move stick there up the inside. Now coming up now through the rest of the first sector, or the technical part of the first sector, just have to stick behind Kobayashi through here. See how much we've already pulled away from Daniel Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly behind, so pretty much proving the pace that we do have in the Renault power unit. Renault really do have a lot of work still to do with their power unit if to make any progress further up the field and challenge for the top 8 positions consistently on a legitimate basis, not including retirements. So for the cars still here, pretty much be Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams, and then Toyota for the top 10. So the Renault power cars do have a lot of work to do to try and progress further up the order. They're getting a good run on the back of Kobayashi. They're coming up through the second sector, but just not quite close enough to the back of Kobayashi to make anything of it. Now coming down into the final sector again, quite close behind Kobayashi once again, but this time we're a lot closer to Kobayashi, so this time with DRS. As literally we should be able to make a move past Kobayashi, going down into the tail one. We're getting Kobayashi there, once again pulling away from us slightly through the high speed chicane, but now coming down into tail one. Surely he's got no defense this time from us, and go to the outside once again. But Kobayashi getting so side, squeezes there into the wall, getting very close to the two of us, but we do make the move there on Kobayashi. Go down to tail one. Kobayashi could try to fight back up the inside. And Kobayashi, thankfully for us, doesn't try to dive one back up the inside and move ahead there of Kobayashi. Now can try and take down the lead of the Renaults there, which is coming Nico Hulkenberg. And now coming down into the final sector now on lap 25, which you go purple there through the second sector, so finding some good time despite being on quite old tyres at this point in the race, and hopefully we should be able to make an easy move on the Renault of Nico Hulkenberg, because despite Hulkenberg's best efforts, that Renault just hasn't got a straight line speed to keep in front of us. But now we'll have DRS now on the back on Nico Hulkenberg. They're gaining quite a bit in the DRS. Has Hulkenberg got any defence way down to turn one? Going to be side by side now with me and Nico Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg trying to hold it right around the outside there. Going to be side by side now coming up into turn 2. Hulkenberg trying to hold it right around the outside. Going to be side by side now coming into turn 2. Hulkenberg goes straight on there with a huge lock up there, and that allows us just to breeze past Nico Hulkenberg. Now that could put Hulkenberg under pressure now from Komario Kobayashi now on the final lap of the Grand Prix. But coming down to turn 3, Kobayashi there isn't close enough there to try and make a move coming up the inside. But now looking up front, we've got Jean-Eric Vergne leading the Grand Prix, probably using that extra set of super soft tyres there to his advantage. But I see you've got Sebastian Vettel there right behind him. There's going to be yet another Ferrari 1-2 in this season. The Vergne only got one sector left to go to keep it in front there of Sebastian Vettel to take what will be his 5th victory of the season out of 8 races. Now coming up through the first sector now, we've got a high speed chicane left to go. If he gets this right, it should be alright down to the end of the Grand Prix. And then there to get through the high speed chicane will find now. They've only got one straight left to go. Unless his engine blows, it should be alright here for the race victory. Now coming up to the finish line, and Jean-Eric Vergne is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Actually, here comes Sebastian Vettel. I don't know who's won the Grand Prix. I know obviously it's a Ferrari 1-2, but I don't know who's just won the Grand Prix. I don't know how close the finish line was there. And Vettel there breezing past, but I don't know who actually won the Grand Prix. Looking at replay of who actually just won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. See the Vettel gaining in slipstream, coming up side by side now with Jean-Eric Vergne. And there's the finish line. And then Sebastian Vettel got it. Sebastian Vettel wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix by about 10 centimetres there from Jean-Eric Vergne. That is the closest victory in Formula 1 history. Yeah, everybody looking very happy with... I don't know if he knows who's won the Grand Prix yet. But Sebastian Vettel there wins the Grand Prix, takes his 47th career victory, and that is the closest finish between first and second in Formula 1 history. I thought between me and Buemi last season that Monza would take some beating, and Ferrari go and prove us wrong by taking what undoubtedly will be the closest finish in F1 history for a long time to come. Taking a look at the race results, and Sebastian Vettel would take victory by, on the timing sheets, a dead heat between himself and Jean-Eric Vergne. We saw there's about 10 centimetres between them at the finish line. Fernando Alonso comes home in third, 3 seconds behind the two Ferraris, with Daniel Kvyat with a good result there for Red Bull in fourth. Lance Stroll with an excellent result comes home in 5th there for Haas, with Lewis Hamilton on a great recovery drive there up to 6th as well in the Toyota. We could come in only managed 7th in the end after that extra pit stop. As the lead Williams, with Nico Hulkenberg in 8th there as the lead of the Renaults. Kobayashi couldn't quite catch up to Hulkenberg there in the end and has to settle for 9th, with Pascal Wehrlein all the way down there in P10. So I really don't know what happened to Pascal Wehrlein there at the end of the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz gets points on his return back to Formula 1 with 11th, and Daniel Ricciardo rounds off the point scorers there in 12th for the second of the Renaults. Max Verstappen unfortunately could only manage 13th in the Grand Prix, so no points there for Verstappen despite his amazing start to the Grand Prix, with Pierre Gasly there in 14th in the second of the Toro Rossos. Robbie Kubica finishes down in 15th there, so poor showing there for Kubica on his first race back in the top team, with Rui Harianto there in 16th, with Carmen Jorda in the second of the McLarens in 17th, Giovinazzi in 18th, with Mick Schumacher down in 19th, and 1 minute 21 behind, so Schumacher must have had some major issues there at the end of the Grand Prix to be so far behind the Saubers and McLaren, so I think something must have gone wrong there so that knock that Schumacher took must have done some internal damage to the car as well. And Adrian Sutil there comes home in last, actually DNF in the Grand Prix in the end, so unfortunate there for Adrian Sutil. For my driver of the day, honestly, I'd have to say Lewis Hamilton. We saw that with a complete plank front wing on the first lap, came back, albeit with the help of the safety car. You see they were already quite a way up the grid before the safety car, and making a great recovery drive there, up to P6 as well, so definitely Hamilton there for my driver of the day. That's been the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I'll leave you with the post-race interviews, but before that remember to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment down below, and vote for your driver of the day with the poll link that will be in the video description. I'll see you all next time.
First of all, great comeback drive from yourself and for the Williams team. Whose call was it to make that extra stop and put you in the position where you finished?
Yeah, that was my choice to come in for the front wing change. I mean, seen on the original pit stop, the team didn't change my front wings, they thought it'd be fine, but on that one lap, despite even going a safety car, so about 60-mile-an-hour speed, you could just feel the understeer through right-hand corners and going through the high-speed chicane on the start-finish straight. You really don't want to be understeering there into a wall. So I thought it's best to take the front wing change, take the pain, but then we have full downforce. So seen he made a move back up through the field there to get back up into 7th, so I think the highest we could have got is 4th or 5th, so not too bad a result in the end, really.
On a different note, how do you think the Williams team reacted on the situation with Sebastian Buemi in Monaco?
The way they handled it in Monaco was fine, but nothing happened, went into the next race, but the way they've handled it this time, this is, honestly, it's just complete BS. I mean, name one thing Buemi's done wrong before that incident. I mean, he came back in 2014 with Ferrari, got a podium finish at Brazil in that Ferrari. You know, that Ferrari really shouldn't have been on the podium, really, with how poor the 2014 car was. And in 2015 moved to Williams, got 2 victories in the early half of the season, and one at Monaco as well, and that's saying something. I mean, albeit he wouldn't have won the race, Bottas should have won that race, but Bottas had a crash, and Buemi didn't, so won the race. And Buemi's made one mistake since he's been at Williams, and they just throw him out the team in favour of Kubica. And Kubica only came home in 15th. I mean, I've got nothing against Kubica in this. I mean, in his situation, why you jump at the chance to race at the top team. So nothing against Kubica, but still, the way Williams have handled this situation really, they've really messed this up. I mean, this is the 3rd time that this happened to Buemi. I mean, Red Bull didn't want him in 2013, replaced by Daniel Kvyat and Toro Rosso, and then Ferrari, despite him scoring a podium finish, didn't want him either, which then sent him to Williams, and now Williams don't want him either, so it's really not fair for Sebastian Buemi, so definitely discussions that need to happen here behind closed doors to resolve this issue.
Finally, we do know that your contract runs out at the end of 2018. With the events that have been happening recently at Williams, is there a plan to move to a different team next year?
As he said, I've got a contract with Williams for 2018, so if another team wants me, they have to come buy me out my contract, but I'll wait till the end of the season, because, like I said, no one's future set. I mean, Daniel Kvyat's got a contract at Red Bull for next season as well, but it doesn't mean he's going to be there. It could end up at Ferrari or McLaren or anywhere. So nothing is set in stone. We just have to see how it goes for the rest of the season for where I am for my drive in 2018.
Thanks for your time.
Alright, cheers.